So, Ironman 70.3 Florida, frustrating day, but overall a good day. Got to return to racing, and we got to see kind of the new normal. Ironman's now had two back-to-back 70.3 weekends in the States, and I felt pretty comfortable with how they approached it. Frustrating maybe from a spectator standpoint. You couldn't see the finish or anything like that, but you could still kind of get out there along the course. I mean, it's just too hard to close whole roads down. Like, you can't stop a spectator from standing on the side of the road. So my family was able to get out there and see random points of the bike course and the run course. You know, I thought overall it was a pretty good experience. Check-in went smoothly. It probably was even smoother than normal because you had to give yourself some sort of check-in appointment time, and that way people were maybe more intentional about when they were going to check in and not massive crowds all there at one time. All of that kind of logistical stuff went nice and smooth. I did use my dad's bike again. I had that crack in my canyon and my frame, and we sent it back to them, and they were sending me a new one, and it finally arrived, but it wasn't until after the race. So didn't get to use it that time. I'll have it for the next race, which will be good. It's a little bit faster, a little bit lighter, more aerodynamic, and just a more aggressive aero position than I can get into on my dad's bike. So that will help and would have helped a lot with the winds. It wasn't crazy windy, but probably, I don't know, somewhere between 12 and 15 mile an hour winds on the bike. So I was able to get some open water swims in, try out the new Roka swim skin that I got, which was really nice. I felt pretty good in the water. My GPS wasn't working fantastic in the water. I think one time it told me I swam like 2 yards, and I swam for 15 minutes or something. So yeah, overall I felt pretty good in the water, and you know, leading up to the race and even in the race, I felt really strong. I swam pretty much exactly even splits. It was interesting, they had something in the water. They had like a timing thing in the water for halfway, which was pretty cool. And I think, you know, helps all the people that are spectating or tracking online just to see how someone's doing in the swim. And it helps athletes too later on be like, okay, I felt like I was going faster or slower in the swim, and you can kind of actually see that. So overall, you know, I am pleased, I guess, with the swim, pleased with the bike. It was under 2.5 hours on my dad's bike on a challenging, hilly, hot day. Yeah, it's toasty warm out here. Toasty, toasty. Ready? Ready to roll? The thing that got me though was the nutrition. And I was really confident in my nutrition plan. Unfortunately, in order to execute a nutrition plan, you need to hold on to the bottles or whatever it is that you're taking in. So the first bottle popped out of the rear cage. I had three bottles of S2Os. The first bottle popped out of the back cage. Going up the first hill, like 30 seconds into the race, I got a couple sips in of I probably got halfway through one of the bottles, or until around like 40-45 minutes into the race, and then just kind of fumbled with it as I went to put it back in the cage. And thought, you know, I have another bottle, no big deal. And then when I went to take a sip out of that one, I just, like, a little bit bumpy of a road, so I didn't maybe time it right, slammed it into the handlebar and dropped it as well. It went off into the ditch, and so I had pretty much, I'm gonna guess I had 150 calories the whole bike ride. Probably 500 milligrams of sodium at the most. That's just not enough when it's 80 degrees outside. I mean, I got absolutely roasted sunburn wise on my arms. I need to remember to put on sunscreen next time. So yeah, that's just not great. Unfortunately, I can't drink Gatorade without immediate stomach issues. So although that was on course, I just thought I might be able to make it. I don't know. Probably should have just backed it down a little bit and considered it a total training day, but I tried to keep pushing through on the bike and made it to the end of the bike. Quads weren't feeling so hot. Thought I could maybe just slam a little bit of nutrition at every aid station on the run first couple miles and hopefully get my legs under me, or get them to stop cramping. I think the sodium was the big issue, really, because overall, like, energy-wise, I felt fine. I just didn't, like, I couldn't get my quad and hamstring to stop being on the verge of cramping. So, not ideal, but I got a really hard swim and I got a really hard bike in, and then I jogged basically around for 7 miles on cramping legs. And to be able to jog 7:45 pace when your legs are cramped, it's not terrible. I just got to the point where I was like, you know what, I have another race in 4 weeks, and I would rather run 5:45 pace than 7:45 pace. Like, that's the pace that I've been training at, or at least 5:50 or sub 6 minute pace off the bike. So reality was not meeting anywhere close to the expectations. So kind of chose to live to fight another day, and I mean, we'll see what happens. I have 4 weeks until Gulf Coast 70.3, and then only another week after that until Chattanooga 70.3, and then a good decent break until Des Moines 70.3, which is more of like an A race. Although I was like really frustrated on Sunday, race day, that it just didn't go my way. There's a lot of racing to look forward to, and that wasn't an A race, and so plenty of time to just kind of reflect and think of, okay, what are those things that I need to maybe adjust, and even if you have a perfect, awesome nutrition plan, I need to have a backup, basically, is the takeaway from that. Is I need something just in case I am just butterfingers again with the water bottles, which I don't want to make excuses, but it's hard to practice on Zwift when you're on a trainer. It's just, you don't get that same real world feel for the road. I think I've been able to ride my bike outside twice in this Iowa winter. So I don't know, giving myself some slack there. I should have done better, but once I dropped them, it was like, all right, is what it is. So yeah, now I recover for for Gulf Coast 70.3, which will be fun. I've never done that race. I love Chattanooga 70.3. That's a fantastic race. They do a great job there. And then Des Moines gets its first 70.3. Which is kind of really the race that I'm targeting along with Lake Placid. New York is maybe still the race that we don't really know. I mean, they just lifted their like travel quarantine rules in April. So every race is going to be, on a location by location basis, but I would feel comfortable with the way that Ironman set things up. I think most people did. And I'm really looking forward to the next one and kind of getting back into training and figuring out, what are those little tweaks, little adjustments to make along the way. So stay tuned for more. It'll be exciting. Only racing again in 4 weeks. It was good to be back out there, for sure. Frustrating, but good. So that I can explain why I'm just standing on the side of the road. I dropped all my nutrition today, so that's good to go. I think I made it halfway through my first water bottle, dropped my second one. My first one popped out before I even got up the first hill, which is like 3 seconds into the race. So I had about 100 calories and like maybe 100 grams of sodium for 2.5 hours of biking. And that's just not enough. So I got off the bike, my quad was already kind of cramped. Could run like 7:45 pace. Tried to eat and get back some nutrition and some sodium, but just
don't want to shoot myself in the foot for the 4 other races that I have. So, good training day, crappy race.